Affinity 3 comes with an image trace feature, and you can use it to create visual effects like this, a sort of paint effect. I'm going to show you how, and also a few variations of this as well. So I'm just going to go through the steps. A really good start point, duplicate the layer. I'm just going to go over here to Edit, and then Duplicate, and then Selection. Once you've got that, I'm going to blur this layer. So you can see this layer here. Go to Pixel, Filters, and then Blur and Gaussian. So Gaussian, and I'm just going to set it to something like 28.7. Just depends on the size of the document. You may want to change it, just vary it, and you will get different results if you vary it. So click Apply. Once you've got that, you can then go over here to Vector and Image Trace. This will only work if you've got Affinity 3. So Image Trace, and with that, you get this. It doesn't look very much. Obviously, the settings will vary, I'm quite certain, but you can change this. And you can see as you reduce it down, let's just reduce it down, and I'm going to go with 1%. You can put it to 0%. You can also modify this, but the effect is very subtle, I think, personally. And then click Apply. Go to the Layers panel and select both of the layers. So with them both selected, you can then merge them. But you may want to just try out some different options. So I'm just going to select this one. With this selected, I can then go up here and I can just run through all of these options here. Vivid light looks pretty good. Linear light, maybe go with that. You can vary it. You could just go with just normal or pass through, perfectly reasonable. Now, just select both of the layers. With both selected, you can then go to Pixel and then down to Merge and Selected. That will merge all those vectors and the original layer into one now. You don't need the original layer. But you could, of course, if you want to, keep it and then combine it again in different ways. Well, once you've got this, you can now apply Image Trace again. Just go here to Vector and Image Trace. And Image Trace, you can see the default there. It's just going to sort of result in a slight variation as you change the edge threshold. You may want to push this up, and I think about 45% here is my desired result, but you can vary it obviously depending on what you want to get, but you will achieve different results by just slightly varying it. Now you can repeat this process a few times, but basically I think this is just a really good endpoint. So click Apply. So now what I want to do is I can go over here and expand this out. And you can see it's made up of lots and lots of paths. All those paths or curves can be modified by a layer effect. You can do it individually, but you can also do it over the entire design. Now, I wouldn't suggest selecting here, just selecting this, because the result isn't as good as if you just go here and select these individually, I think. So someone will say it's the same. Well, let's just try it. So background and effects, just click here, and 3D. If I just change this, you can see the result. It's okay, but you really can't see anything. However, I don't want that, so I'm just going to close it, undo. Just wanted to show you, you can do it. So just remove that. So select them individually, and you can select obviously one or maybe more. All of them. In fact, you can go all the way down. There's quite a lot. So just go all the way down the bottom, hold down the shift, and then they're all selected. Now, this is not the pass-through at the top with the background. This is the individual. And the result will be different. So if you just go here to Effects, just click here. And with this, you can then modify 3D. So let's just go 3D. Now you can see this sort of result. And you can just change the radius. Just change it a bit. Obviously, you can vary it. You can also go to Bevel and Emboss. Just try out different options. Maybe not. Personally, I think Bevel and Emboss doesn't always result in the best look. So I'm just going to go with 3D for this. And of course, you've got options here for soften. You can also change the direction, so you can just tweak it. I think the default is actually quite nice, but I'm just going to push that up again. You can also modify the profile as well. Now, of course, you can always undo. So Control Z, Command Z, etc. You can just remove that, just put it back to something that really looks quite decent. Also, you've got profiles. So just click here and then just click here and you can see you get a different result. Again, maybe not ideal. You can always just remove that profile if you want, and you can change the colours, etc. And I'm just going to reduce it down a bit, maybe not that much, and I'm going to go with that and click close and just deselect, and you can see the result. Obviously, depending on the radius, all the various settings, you will get different results, but you've got this 3D effect. But as mentioned, let's just undo. You can undo it. Just going to undo. Let's just go over here, back to this, and we've got this all selected. Well, you can just select individual ones. So just select, say, those. I'm just randomly selecting a couple of layers, and you can just do the same. So effects, click there, and again, 3D. And just apply a 3D effect to certain parts of the image and click close. You might find that more effective than applying it to the entire image. Well, you can create some variations of this. So I've got this image. I'm just going to duplicate it again, exactly the same as before. So edit and duplicate and selection. With that, I can then go to pixel and I'm going to filters, blur and Gaussian. So just apply that. And this time I'm just going to reduce it down a bit. I'm not going to have it as much. Click apply. I can also add other effects. Don't have to go just with this. What I can do, I can go to pixel, filters, and maybe let's just go down. It could go distorts, all these options here, noise, maybe not, but certainly colors, and just go down here. And I'm going to go with halftone. In halftone, you get this really weird, intense thing. Maybe you don't want to push the cell size too low. That's perhaps going to create some really hundreds and hundreds of different paths. So I'm just going to boost this out to something like this. And you can see that I can modify this. I can, though, why it says monochrome, that's weird. Monochrome, that's the black and white one. Yeah, color, get it right there. So you've got this one. And click apply. Okay. So once you've got this, you can, of course, go here and blend. You can do all these sort of things again. But what you can now do is you can apply image trace to this result as well. So let's just go here to vector, and it will create a lot. So that, it's not going to be light on processing. So image trace, and there it is. You can get this very interesting effect, and you can then modify edge threshold. You push it down. You can just tweak it, and you can modify this. Now this time I suspect this may have different results. You've got maybe go with this. So I've got here 6% and 78%. Obviously it will vary depending on the image and also the halftone effect you've got. And click apply. Now what I'm going to do is I could do the same as I did before. I could combine them and then reapply it, but let's just go with this. So just select this one, just select this layer. And now, actually, what I want to do is select the individual parts. So click there. That's the key thing, not the top one. What you want is these ones, the curves, just there, polyline, etc. So curve, and then go all the way down. Again, hold the shift. You don't have to select them all. Then probably quite a few here. I'm quite certain. I haven't counted them. But once you've got this, you can then go here to effects again. So click effects. And now let's just see if it can handle it. Might do, it might not. Yes, it does. Reasonably quick, which is good. And you can see the result of that. Let's just click close. And you can see you've got quite a weird visual effect now with these sort of raised dots design. All kinds of possibilities available with this. I'm just going to undo that. So let's just undo and go back to, let's go back there, not to the halftone, but just to the blur effect. There's, of course, a few other options as well. I can always go here to pixel and then filters, and I'm going to go with colors. Let's just go down to halftone again. And with halftone, I could use Voronoi. That's another really good one. And instead, I always put it in monochrome. I do not know. That seems to be a slight fault. Line. Let's just go with line. Want that one. And I can modify the cell size and all those sort of things. You can modify the angle if you want. Perfectly reasonable. Click apply. Now this one is in black and white. Well, of course, we have got the background. So we can, if we want to bring it back in again, just go here and you can go you know what, maybe that one, or so on. So you can vary it like that if you want. But I'm just going to go with the line effect here. I can do exactly the same as before. So this time I'm just going to go to Vector and Image Trace. So Vector Image Trace, and now it's been turned all into vectors. And I can then just modify the edge threshold again. You can reduce it down, though to be honest, I suspect there isn't going to be much variation there. And click Apply. Well, now you can do exactly the same with this. You can just go to the background, you can click here, open this up, select one or more, up to you of course, you don't have to select them all, and hold down the shift, so all selected there, and then you can click Effects. And then with that you can just go to 3D, and now you get this lovely 3D effect on top of it. Creates a very weird, sort of slightly off-center visual effect, very strange effect. So click Close. But as mentioned, you can, if you want the colour into it, you can always, let's just go here. I've just removed them all again. I can just go up the top, go to the background, then change this. Let's just go for something like, choose something, overlay. Perfectly reasonable. I'm going to apply another effect to this as well. So I'm just going to select both. Again, pixel and merge and selected. So they're all merged into one. Pixels, filter and blur and Gaussian blur. I'm just going to blur it just slightly. Not as much as that, but just maybe about 2.7. Just subtle blur. Click Apply. And now I can go do exactly the same. Vector, image trace. And now you can see you get this sort of effect. And again, you can change that and you probably get subtle changes, but I think it creates a very nice visual effect, which you could use as backgrounds, overlays, etc. And click Apply. Now you don't have to go any further, but if you want to add that sort of depth again, exactly the same as before, you can then go here, make certain you just select these, not the background. You want to go there and just go all the way down. There's lots of paths again. And just down the curves, select them all, and now go to Effects, click there, and you've got 3D, and again, you can see as you do that, you get this lovely 3D sort of line effect, very quickly applied using 3D, or maybe bevel emboss, try all those, maybe go for outer shadow, just try different settings here, and you can see, get a little offset there, and get maybe slightly darker image as well, and then click Create. So if I deselect that, you can now see the end result. So image trace can be used to create some quite interesting painter-like effects, as well as some quite unusual sort of visual effects as well, like this. Hope you found this of interest. Any questions and thoughts about this technique, please let me know in the comments. Always great to hear from you. Bye.